Hi guys! Thank you so much for being here today. Obviously you are here to see why I closed my Etsy shop. Now I actually still have an account with Etsy, so I don't know if I technically closed the shop, but basically I am not putting any energy into my Etsy shop anymore. I won't be selling anything in the shop. So I don't have this video planned out. Hopefully it's not all over the place, but I am just going to hop right in and tell you Etsy was just too much work for me. If you guys know, I have two YouTube channels, my vlog channel, my craft channel, and I spend sometimes like full-time hours on both of those channels. Before starting an Etsy shop, I did not know how much time I was going to be needing to put into the shop. I was kind of thinking like, oh, this will just be an easy place, a platform for me to sell things when I want. But it really doesn't work well that way, in my opinion. Etsy works best when you are continually selling items, when you are making sure to always update your items, relist your items, basically just put a ton of work into it. Now, of course, if you wanted to just place something for sale and then not do too much about it, you could totally do that, but I really don't see much success coming out of that. And when I first opened my shop, I was putting a ton of time into making sure I was taking quality photos, writing up my posts really nice, and making sure, you know, that I am representing my items as best as I could. I was making sure to always be making new items and continually posting, and it was doing really well. My shop kicked off really well. I had a ton of things that were pre-made and just ready to go and ready to ship, and I felt like because of that, my Etsy shop did really well in the beginning. I was making money and it was really fun, but once I started to run out of that stock that I had, I was starting to find it a little stressful because I felt like I needed to continually be making huge batches of things to sell. And I was finding that if I was not continually posting new items like all the time, that I wasn't getting sales. I also felt like Etsy was a little weird in the way that I could not put things in a category that made sense for it. Like, for instance, I was selling things that had to do with snail mail and pen pal type stuff, and there wasn't a category exactly for that. Or I was selling flip book kits, and there's not a category for that. So I was having to place a lot of my things into general categories that really didn't explain what I was selling. Which means if someone was looking for something like that, it was going to be hard for them to search for it. The way that Etsy works is kind of weird also in the way that if I tell someone what my shop name was and they went to search for it, but maybe they misspelled the shop name, or, you know, they missed a letter that was in my shop name, Etsy doesn't give you alternative suggestions. It's not going to say like, hey, these shop names sound like what you just searched for. So unless you are searching on Etsy for the exact item or the exact shop, you're not really going to be found. And maybe I'm wrong on some of this, so again, this is just from all my experience and everything. So I felt like even as a shopper, it just wasn't the easiest website to search for stuff. Now, if you're selling something that's really popular, like planner stickers, I think you're going to have a little bit easier time selling stuff, because that's a really popular item that people are searching for, and it seems to come up quite a bit easier when you're searching. But since I was selling some unique things like pen pal type things and flipbook kit things that I didn't see on Etsy a lot, I just felt like it was really hard to place my stuff in the right categories. Now, not only that, but I had to pay a fee for listing. And I think the fee is only like 20 cents per listing, which, you know, that's not a ton. And along with always needing to renew your listings so that they could easily be found, it definitely adds up. Now on top of that, I found that shipping was also a little bit of a hassle sometimes because I had a scale, so I could estimate pretty good what the shipping was going to be for certain items so that I could charge the right amount. But it was definitely a lot of work, especially when I was going to possibly be combining certain items. Then the shipping's going to be different, and sometimes I would have to like refund if one person was combining a few items into one sale. And you know, I don't know, I just felt like the whole process was just a lot of work. And you know, I definitely expected that I would have to put a lot of work into the shop, but I did not know that to kind of keep my shop up and to make it successful, that I was going to have to put in as much time as I do for like my YouTube channel. So you know, I have friends that have successful Etsy shops, and I definitely don't want to scare you away if you are considering opening a shop. I think that you can totally do well with one, but I think you just need to know that you're going to have to put a lot of time into your shop. If you want your shop to be bringing in a lot of money for you, I think it's important to know that you will need to be taking quality photos, which is, you know, pretty time consuming. You'll need to be able to write up a really good listing, and just to expect that you're going to have to put a lot of time into advertising for your shop. I was doing that as well. I was advertising on my YouTube channel, my Instagram, my Facebook, and I honestly got sick of always having to say, hey, don't forget, I have a shop, I'm selling stuff. Like, I just didn't like doing that constantly. I don't always want to be selling stuff. So, you know, those were the reasons why I decided that it was not really going to work for me. I obviously want my focus to be on my YouTube channel. That's what I love doing. I love sharing and inspiring people. I love sharing our life on YouTube, and I basically had to choose between the two. There's just no way that it was going to work with me trying both. The one other thing that was really hard for me was that I was offering custom orders on my Etsy shop, and I shouldn't have done that because it's kind of stressful to have to figure out having people pay a deposit ahead of time so that you can have money to buy the supplies. And I just didn't like having to ask people for money for something when I wasn't already shipping their item out. And I know that's just a silly thing. Like, if you feel okay doing that, then that's awesome. But I just have a hard time at doing that. And oh, I did almost forget to add that also I was spending so much money on shipping supplies, like just the packaging, the bubble mailers. I was spending a lot of money on the actual supplies that I was using to make the products. And personally, I think it's kind of hard selling handmade things because it's hard to put a price on the time that you are, you know, taking to create products. And sometimes people expect to pay a lot less for things because, like, hey, you can just go to Michael's and get it for $1, so why are you selling it for $20? And of course, then that just means those aren't your target customers. But I just still find that it's kind of hard to have to figure out pricing. So anyways, guys, that was a little all over the place. Like I said, I didn't plan it out, but I wanted to be able to share that with you guys. And again, if you are thinking about starting an Etsy shop and you are 100% into it, your heart is in it, and you're not just doing it to make a ton of money from the bat, I think that you can make it work. But just know that you're going to have to put a lot of time into it. And I definitely recommend just making sure that you're ready to make it like a really big priority, and you could do really well. So if you do have any other questions, let me know down below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!